Here we go. Here we go.
Okay.
Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon. It's time. I tell you what that earlier. I loved that show earlier. Don't forget, we got more shows on for the rest of the day, and don't forget tomorrow we've got really good show on at 7 o'clock tomorrow. Do not miss it. But in the meantime, we got Fiona Phillips back. Hello, Fiona.
Hi. Hi, Steve. Hello,
Now,
everyone.
what are you going to talk about today?
Wow. Last month, I spoke about the tools I've used to transform myself. And one of those tools is positive thinking. So I'd like to talk about that.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to let Fiona have your time with you, and I'll be here, and I'll see you in around about 20 minutes or so.
Thank you very much, Steve. I really appreciate the opportunity.
That's fine.
Okay.
Bye
So
bye for now.
thanks. Bye, Steve. So I want to talk about the power that lies within each of us to co-create our lives. Can we truly create whatever we want? Do you believe that? A lot of people are starting to realize that our inner world is not quite what it seems, that actually we have a lot of power over our lives. So modern science is telling us now that reality isn't just solid, it's actually pure energy. And that our consciousness is part of that energy, that we're not disconnected from life. We're very, very much a part of it. And that our consciousness interacts with the world that we experience. And once we start to understand that more consciously, and I think collectively humanity is at the point where we are getting to that point where we're going to understand reality in a very different way. And that will probably accelerate our ability to create the world that we want to live in rather than the world that we don't want to live in. So even great minds like Albert Einstein said that everything is energy and that you can manifest what you want. He said everything is energy and that's all there is to it. Match your frequency to the reality that you want and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy, this is physics. So what energy are you holding in thought, word, feeling, and action? Are you holding a positive energy? Are you thinking positive thoughts? Are you speaking positively? Are you feeling positive? Because it's very, very powerful, isn't it? I think a lot of people realize that now. So we can talk about positive thinking, or we can talk about synchronicity and manifesting. They're two terms that a lot of people have heard of. I don't know if they're familiar to you, but Carl Jung, the great psychologist, coined the word synchronicity. And it's basically means those strange coincidences that happen in our lives. And when you get more and more and more of them, you start to wonder what's going on. And manifesting is taking that one step further, isn't it? So it's using our thoughts, feelings, or beliefs, our inner energy to bring something into our physical reality. And it apparently is considered to be based on universal law. So I'll give you a little example of a synchronicity, a meaningful coincidence that happened to me. I was sitting in a park in Fleet, my hometown, in 1985, just a young teenager. But I was struggling at that time and I was thinking, how can I change my life? And I was thinking, well, perhaps the only way is to transform myself. So I was sort of strangely plucking at the grass and repeating to myself out loud, shed my skin, shed my skin, shed my skin. And for some reason, I lifted up my hand, and between my thumb and forefinger was the little shed skin of some kind of insect, like a very small snake or worm. And I was like, wow, shed my skin. And it turned out to be a meaningful coincidence, because over the following decades, I did set about to transform myself. And so very strange how these synchronicities can sometimes have a lot of meaning in your life. So over the years, I've experimented with these wonderful experiences, and I've learned a bit about how the universe responds to us. So we can call it the universe, meaning the one song. We can call it the unified field. That's what scientists are calling reality now, that it's all made up of infinitesimally small particles. They're all in connection with each other. Sometimes they call them the God particle, and we're all part of this field. So how does this field respond to our energy? Well, I've noticed that it responds to our clear thoughts and our calm mind. And that's why meditation is so good, because it trains us to be calm. And when we're calm, our thoughts are more powerful and we see them come back to us in our lives more clearly. The universe responds to joy and enthusiasm, like our childlike energy, those feelings of joy. It responds to, in a manner of like attracts like. So like when you put in a search word into Google and it brings up all the similar ideas to the word that you've put in, that's kind of how the universe might work. It also responds to your will. So when you're very determined about something, you're more likely to see it come back to you. And it also responds to unusual or creative thoughts. And also, because if you have the same thoughts every day, you won't know that you're a creator, because you'll just get the same life. So bringing in unusual and creative thoughts, you can see the universe responding when it brings you those thoughts. Thoughts are, in a way, a doorway to experience, and that's what I believe we're moving into. And hopefully I'll show you some examples from my own life and other people's lives that demonstrate that. And I'm sure you've got your own as well. The universe responds to your imagination. So when you imagine you've already got the thing that you want, it's more likely to come your way. And it responds when you're in a giving mode. So yes, receiving in life is good and taking, but giving is also important. And when you're giving in life for free, then things can come back to you quite often. Okay, so in summary, the universe responds to our positive inner world. So one example of manifesting, making something happen that I've got, it's quite a funny one. I was in Cambodia a couple of years ago, and I was jogging up to a market stall one morning to buy my fruit and veg. And I thought to myself, would I be able to manifest food if I needed it? And I thought, can I manifest a free cucumber? So I got to the market stall and I was sort of buying some fruit and veg and hoping that a free cucumber was going to come my way, but it didn't. Nevertheless, within a day or two, I was at a market stall buying chicken for some street dogs that I was feeding every day. And I went there every day, but this day, the lady in the market stall popped a free cucumber in the bag for me. So I got my free cucumber, and I was so excited that I took a picture of her, and I couldn't tell her why I was so excited, but there it is. So the universe responds to clear thoughts and a calm mind. So the very first experience I had of this new way of seeing reality was when I was 21, and it was in Leamington Spa. And I was shopping and I saw a wishing well. So I got very, very calm, and I threw a coin in and I made a wish that some child somewhere whose stomach is empty has his stomach filled. And I walked away from the wishing well, walked around the corner, and a very strange sight met me. There was a child, like something out of a Dickens novel, dressed in rags, and he came up to me and he said, "My father can't afford the groceries this month, so I'm collecting a bit of money." And I just couldn't believe it. It was as if the universe had rearranged itself in about 5 seconds to mirror my thought. So I was able to give this boy some money. And with that, my whole view of reality shifted about 360 degrees. So the universe responds to your enthusiasm and joy. So about 20 years ago, I was working on a diving boat off the coast of Australia just for 2 weeks, trying to earn free dives at the time. And I was really busy, but one day I saw this beautiful poster on the wall on the boat of this incredible ship. And I was just so enthusiastic about it. And the captain overheard me. He said, "Oh yeah, that's the replica of the Endeavour ship that Captain Cook sailed and landed in Australia on." And I was like, "Oh, that's amazing." And he said, "Yes, I've sailed in her." I was like, "You're so lucky." Anyway, within a few hours, or was it the next morning? I'm not sure, but I just took a moment to look out to sea amidst all my chores, and I saw this ship in the distance. And I was like, "That's the Endeavour." And I called everyone over. I said, "Look, it's the Endeavour ship." And they said, "No, that's not the Endeavour. Don't be silly." Anyway, when we got back to the dock, what was moored next to us but the Endeavour ship? So it was the Endeavour. And in fact, I went over and I ended up sailing in her for 4 days and climbing the rigging and everything. So that ship could have been anywhere in the world because it sails all around the world. But so do you see how life is pure energy, and that our thoughts and our consciousness are a very key part of what we experience? So what Einstein was saying about matching your frequency to the thing that you want. I had an experience years ago where me and a friend travelled all the way to Ireland to meet a dolphin called Fungi. And he's still alive, apparently. He's free, so he chooses to spend a bit of time with humans. And so we got there, we'd come all this way. There was a huge empty bay in front of me, and I started swimming out in this bay, looking for the dolphin. After a while, I started to get a bit despondent. There was no sign of the dolphin. It was getting colder, and I started to feel a bit stressed and fed up. And then I thought, no, don't do that, Fee. Just imagine that you're a dolphin. So I started to imagine the joy that a dolphin might feel. I started to look under the water because that is the world of the dolphin, and just to be in the present moment. And suddenly, looking up at me, locking eyes, was Fungi the dolphin. And that was a wonderful teaching for me about how that works. They do say that dolphins are quite higher dimensional beings, and I can believe it. So the universe responds to your will as well when you're determined about something. So an example of that, years ago, I'd written a letter to one of my favourite authors, who wrote a book that really changed my life. This book, Saturn. And the author was Liz Green. So I wrote to her, telling her how she changed my life. And I was really hoping to get a letter back, but I never heard anything. So a couple of months later, I was sitting on my bed and I thought, she never wrote back. And I thought I said out loud, I want you to respond to me. I want you to acknowledge me. And it was just like a strong feeling that I really wanted to hear back from her. So the universe provided something even better than that, because within a couple of weeks or so, I was in London at Regent's College attending a one-day course. And one of the girls in the group was upset about something. So I ran downstairs to get something for her. And I ran back up. I was a bit disorientated and stressed because the girl was upset. And I sort of burst into this room only to realise it was the wrong classroom. And there was a whole classroom full of people and a teacher at the front. And it was one of those moments where everyone stops dead and stares at you. And I turned around and the teacher just gave me this huge big smile, and I sort of backed out of the room. And as I shut the door, I saw on the door it said Centre for Psychological Astrology, which I knew was Liz Green's astrology school. And I realised that that was Liz Green, the lady that I'd wished would acknowledge me. So this whole 3D experience came out of that one willful moment. And the universe responds to creative, unusual thoughts as well. So one night I was at work quite a few years ago now, and I was a bit bored, and I thought, what can I do? I thought, I'm going to count all the stairs that we all run up and down every day at work and work out how many times we will have climbed a mountain every year in our job, running up and down the stairs. So I looked up how tall Kilimanjaro was. I worked out that every year we'd all climbed Kilimanjaro twice at work. And then I thought, oh, I'll email everyone because it's quite an entertaining fact. So within a few days, one of my colleagues came up to me and said, oh, I saw this notice on the board, and I wondered if I thought you might be interested in it. And it was a charity climb of Kilimanjaro. And I went, oh, wow. I said, oh, so you saw my email? He said, no. What email? So he hadn't seen it, but I ended up doing that charity climb, and it was very developmental, and it got me out of the boredom of work as well. So again, how these creative or unusual thoughts can open doorways to experience. The universe responds when you're in a giving mode, which I mentioned earlier about when I got the cucumber, when I was getting the chicken for the street dogs, just giving to the animals there. Well, this is another lovely story by friends of mine, Ingrid and Jerry. And Ingrid says one of the things she does to give back, to give to life, is she clears the rubbish on the streets. She'll go out for an hour or two once a week and just clear the rubbish. And she said one day the universe gave back, because Jerry wanted to buy some shoes, and she said it was always really hard because he wanted something very specific. He wanted black loafers, size 13, with a wide foot, and it was always a problem to get him the shoes he needed. So they were out walking, clearing the trash one day, and there in the middle of the pavement was a pair of brand new black loafers, size 13. So this is the universe responding with these magic shoes. So can we manifest our way out of trouble? Well, I believe that it can really help if we're aware of this whenever we're in any kind of difficult situation or worry or trouble, that if we can just shift our energy at least 10%, or if not more, into a positive frame of mind, into the present moment, that it can help to bring about a positive outcome to our problem. So I'll just give you a couple of small examples. I lost my phone late one night when I was walking the dog in Burgess Hill. It was about 11 at night, and I panicked. I realised I'd lost my phone, and I rushed around where we'd been walking. It was dark, it was getting cold, I was getting more and more panicky. And then I just thought, no, I haven't found it. Stop. Change your energy, I thought. So I started to try and imagine that I was in the moment like a child having fun, and I spotted this funny looking leaf, and I sort of went over, I'm going to pick that up and have a look at it. And as I picked it up, underneath was my mobile phone. I'm sure you've all done it, like when you've lost something and you stop looking for it, you distract yourself with something positive, and you suddenly remember where it was, or you find it. It's a bit like that. So another little story, a friend of mine, Chrissy, she needed more money per month. And she was already working very hard as a yoga teacher. She was a single mother, and she said she didn't want to do loads more hours or work really hard, even harder than what she already was. So she put it out to the universe and she said, I need at least £200 a month more, but I don't want to work really hard for it. And within a few days, a friend of hers rang up and said, oh, would you be able to house a student at your place, like a live-in student? And she realised that that was hundreds of pounds, that all she had to do was make breakfast and change the sheets. But she said, what she said was that you have to kind of be in alignment with what you want. So if part of you wants to go traveling, but part of you wants to get all cozy in a nice, lovely place of your own, if you're torn in two, it's harder for the universe to bring you what you want. So you need to be focused and clear about what you want. So for me, synchronicities can progress in your life. First of all, for me, they were like a bright star in a very dark sky, where a lot of my life was quite tough in a certain kind of way. And these moments of magic, you know, really inspired me. And of course, I've read hundreds of books on it since, trying to understand what it's all about. And it's helped me to form a new worldview and to experiment with it as well, which some of the things I've told you about today. But I really wish that, like, my life itself would be able to be more like these magical moments. But what I found over time was that bit by bit, the light became stronger and the darkness receded. So eventually I became more aware of this as a force in me, that I had the power in me to manifest what I needed, with the universe's help. And there have been times in my life where I've been very sort of doing all the right things for myself, when I felt very supported by the universe. And big things have happened. So I've been able to manifest leaving my job and walking across Spain, and saving up the right money to go to India for a year and things like that. So big things in my life that reflected the big changes in myself. So just finally, what increases your frequency so that you can become a more effective manifester? Because we are all manifesting, I believe, but to become more aware of it and to manifest more positive things, well, meditation, exercise increases your frequency, because it's like we're like magnets, and the more sort of electricity we've got running round us, the stronger the magnet in us. Less screen time. I know we're all probably guilty of that now, but there was a time where I was not using any media, no television, anything. And I was very in touch with my inner self. And, you know, that was one of the most powerful times for me. A healthy diet keeps you all everything working strongly in you too. So there's a lot of energy in you. Positive thinking and feelings, what we've talked about, and moving away from addictive patterns, because that takes energy away from the energy of you as a co-creator. And also practicing your will, so doing what you say you're going to do and acting on your positive thoughts. So just to finish, I'd like to read a quote. It's attributed to a philosopher from hundreds of years ago called Goethe. And it's about committing yourself to things, because he basically said that when you commit yourself to something strongly, then all these coincidences come about to help you to achieve that goal. And I'm sure, Steve, you might be aware of that in your life, that perhaps when you committed to doing this podcast, that things started to come to you. Yeah, things started to work out for you.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, very much so. Yeah, it's really interesting hearing this, because it's been really, really good. I've just been sitting here stroking the dog and listening to this. Really good. I love every minute
Thanks.
of it.
Oh, thank you, Steve.
Brilliant.
I really appreciate the opportunity, and you seem to be such a good listener as well, and that's such a rare quality. So I appreciate that.
No, no, it's all right. Always listen. I always listen to everybody's
Yeah,
show,
it's a lot.
and bringing show. But what I'm trying to say is when you were saying about like finding things like finding like the phone under the leaves and stuff like that, and finding, and I think
Yeah,
sometimes the universe can help us to do that, can't it? If we kind of like believe in something or our faith in something kind of like happen. If we
yeah,
believe.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's almost like what I noticed was I gave a talk on this once, this synchronicity stuff, and there were about 3 or 4 synchronicities that happened in the room as we were talking about it. So it's kind of like wherever you focus your attention, that's what you get more of. So if you're positive and you believe that the universe is helping you, that helps the universe to help you.
Yeah. I think it's really good, and well done that presentation with the slides. It was really good. I'm getting kind of like a lot of comments here on the radio page. Many trouble is many people can't see the radio page. I need to do something about that. But anyway,
Okay.
but yeah, it's really good. Um, all I can say to all I can say to you is this: that when you're kind of like the universe, and some people, because some people who believe in the universe, there's different techniques, don't they? They do like charts, and they do tarot
Hmm.
cards, and they do
Yeah,
everything else. Um,
yeah.
I don't believe in the tarot cards, but
Hmm.
everybody kind of like wants to know what the future's going to be like,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
but I don't think I don't think that's necessary, really. I
Hmm.
don't know what you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess all of these things can be tools with which we start to look at life in a deeper way and perhaps try and understand life. But no, we don't need those things because I think we have everything we need within us in a way,
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah,
in our
yeah.
energy.
Anyway,
Yeah.
brilliant, Jill. Very good.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, really good. That was brilliant.
Cheers.
Honestly, that was really, really good.
Oh, bless you,
Thank you
Steve.
for
Thank you
that.
so much. And thanks for listening,
Yes, and
everybody.
Yazzie, and Yazzie
Oh,
is here listening too, and she's nodding
oh,
her head.
hi.
Yeah, I'll get her to say hello before you go.
Yeah, sure. Hi. Oh, we can't hear
But
her, can
sorry
we,
about the
Steve?
hold up.
So there we go.
Oh,
Now,
hang on for a
now I'm
second.
off mute.
Hi,
Yeah,
Izan.
that's
Oh, she's
You know,
gone
because
quiet again.
why I'm off
no,
mute.
it's all right. Carry on.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
back now.
No, these are things I work with and apply, but you put it over so well, and it's a real reminder, particularly when we go in a bit of a slump and we become a little bit more victim-like or pessimistic. And you're right, synchronicities happen all the time. I'm always encountering them.
Are
Um,
you?
and
Yeah.
tribal peoples in the past and even to today, but they always talked about these kinds of auspices and synchronous events, which is really coincidence,
Oh,
but with meaning, as Carl Jung said. Um, and they say when you get those happening, you're on the right track. The universe or nature will always align. Yeah, isn't it?
ah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
So
that makes
you've
sense.
reminded me. You've reminded me a lot. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Izan.
Loved
That's
it.
great.
Loved
And I
it.
suppose astrology is like a huge synchronicity, isn't it?
As above, so below. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. Indeed. Yes. Yeah.
It's really good. That was really good. Honestly, I won't
It
say
was.
if it wasn't.
Oh,
It
thank
was really
you.
interesting.
Thanks. Thanks for listening as well, Lisanne.
Oh no, I no, really, and it came at the right time for me. Things often do, you know.
Yeah.
And thanks for reminding me you're on there. I do try and listen to some, but with my working day, it's not always easy, you know. But
Yeah.
I managed to move something so I could do this. So that's
Great.
lovely.
Super.
Yeah.
And we're
I've got a
seeing
friendly
you.
alert right before I go.
So
Oh,
who's that? Oh, is that you? Oh yes, I met him or her, didn't I? I
Yeah, well,
met
he's
him.
a bit of a pain, this one. Yeah, this is Lynn's dog, and he's always happens to go at everybody. So I've got him on here at the moment. So anyway, I've got to go because I've got another
Okay.
5 to do.
ooh,
Busy man.
good man.
And
Yes, good
yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
well,
anyway,
say
thank you
goodbye.
so much for joining.
Thank you so much for
Thank you so
having me.
much. God bless
It's
you.
nice to see you again, Isan, as well.
See you soon. See you soon.
Bye,
Both of you.
everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.